Let's quickly talk about how to get a credit union startup business credit card with no income. So it's very simple. You have a startup. It can be a single member LLC, it can be a multi-member LLC, it can be an S corp, C corp. It doesn't really matter. But you have a startup. It's a legit startup, but you have no income, and you are looking for a business credit card from a credit union. So here is an overview. I really want you to pay attention first. Okay. So when we talk about business credit card for startups from a credit union, you need to understand that your choice is already limited, because when it comes to credit unions that offer a business startup credit card for let's say if you have no income, the choice is limited. You have regional players, you have national players, and then you have local players. Okay, I want you to remember this trifecta, and you want to go systematically after those national players. I'm speaking here about the Connexus of the world, Connexus Credit Union. I'm talking about the Consumers Credit Union, CCU. I'm talking about Navy Federal. Okay, I'm speaking about Alliance. So those are national players, and then you have the regional players. Then you have the state players. Regional players, you have the likes of Lake Michigan. You have the likes of Bluefed. You have the likes of BECU. So you got to be really clear about what's based on the state you're in. You got to be clear about which credit union are actually in that state, and which credit unions will actually might qualify for, because even though those credit unions are in your state, you might still not qualify. Okay, so very important. So you don't waste your time down the road. Make sure that you first understand your eligibility for those credit unions. So welcome back to the show, boss. I really appreciate having you on this show, into this conversation. Make yourself comfortable. So it's really important to understand that if you are looking for a credit union startup business credit card, there are some requirements that they will ask you, and make sure that you qualify. But you have to be able to show that you want to use the whatever you're charging on the card, you want to use it for legitimate business expenses. Because the thing is, if you are a startup and you have no income, some credit unions believe that you might use the card for personal expenses. So you need to be able to show that you will be spending the cash on business expenses. For example, marketing costs, research expenses, insurance, license and permits, technology, taxes, utilities, office supplies, and payroll in some cases. So how do you actually choose a business credit card for your new business if you are looking for a card at a credit union? The thing that's really important to understand here is that once you establish eligibility, once you're sure that the credit unions you are eyeing is indeed actually qualifying you in your state, make sure the next thing you want to do here is you want to make sure that you open a business checking account, a business savings account with them. Okay, you got to have an account with them before you can apply for a business credit card. And what you want to do here is that you want to actually look at the business credit, you want to look at the credit union and look at the diversity of business credit cards they offer, and see which one will be suitable for you. Why? Because the thing here is that you might have a business credit card for business expenses, everyday business expenses, and some of them might actually be geared toward travel, rewards. Some might be geared towards cashback. Some might be geared towards, specific industries. And sometimes that's what we call rotating categories. Okay. So you have to be really clear about what really works for you. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to choose a credit union startup business credit card with no income. Okay. So what you want to do here is that you want to actually analyze your business expenses. You want to analyze, like you want to see, for example, what am I spending? What am I spending at? And how much am I spending? Let's say your business expenses are like around 10,000. Okay. Are you spending on inventory? Are you spending on office supplies? Are you spending on travel and entertainment? Whatever you're spending on, I will need you to write it down. And based on what you're spending on, you need to find a business credit card from a credit union that matches what you're spending, your initial expenses. This is important so that the card, whatever card you get, you can actually optimize its usage. Okay. Also think about the sign-up bonus. Some credit union, business credit card for startups do have sign-up bonuses. Some might have rewards, and so you want to look at that as well. So this is on the plus side, sign-up bonuses and rewards. But you also need to look at the negative side, which is you might have fees and rates. Okay. And so what I want you to do here is that if you want to choose a business credit card for your new business from a credit union, I want you to balance the pros and cons so you are sure about what you're getting yourself into. Here is the best approach that I think will work for you. And it's very simple. There are two things you want to do. If you want to get a business credit card real quick as a startup from a credit union, there are actually 2 to 3 things. Actually 2 to 3 things, not 2 things, but 3 things. Okay. First, you want to research your options. And number 2, you want to check your credit. So the thing is, when we talk about researching your options, I'm not just talking about you looking at the type of business credit cards that your specific credit union is offering. No, what I'm saying here is that I want you to look at 2, 3, or 4 credit unions in your state or credit unions that you qualify for, and look at the constellation of business credit cards that they offer to startups. Okay, so I want you to really sort of cast a wider net here. Okay, do not just limit your choices to the proverbial one basket for one specific credit union. No, be very generous. You want to open you want to expand the basket to see that you have a larger selection pool. Okay, very important. So one thing I want to say here is that when I say you want to research your option, I'm not just saying in terms of the type of card itself. Also, you want to look at the kind of benefits that the card offers. Okay, so is it a travel rewards card? Is it a cashback card? How do you actually earn rewards? How do you redeem those rewards? Okay, so if you are earning perks, how do you redeem them? Is the redemption process easy? You got to look at all those things. Okay, so after researching your options, you got to check your credit. The thing is that credit unions, when it comes to approving business credit cards for startups, they're really flexible. They're not going to complicate things for you, but you still have to have decent credit. I'm not saying you need to have like a stellar credit here. If you do have stellar credit, fantastic. God bless you. This is all we want. Okay, but if you have bad credit, if you have fair credit, you can still qualify for a startup business credit card from a credit union. The thing is, you need to know where you are currently at. Okay, where are you at, boss? Are you at 300? I mean, not 300. Are you at 400? Are you at 500? Are you at 600? Where are you at? You need to have a clear idea where you currently are at so that you can start taking proper steps, concrete steps to actually increase your FICO score down the road. Okay. And it's really important to understand that when we talk about FICO score increase, it is a process. It is a gradual process. Don't believe what people are telling you. You can raise your FICO score in 30 days and whatnot. Those are just all lies. Okay. You're not going to raise your FICO score in 30 days. It takes time. Let me give you a few pro tips so you can actually ace your business credit card, your startup business credit card application with no income at a credit union. What you want to do here is that you have to actually be clear about, you have to provide certain things. First of all, you want to apply for this business credit card for your startup, and you want to go to a branch. Do not apply online. Do not apply over the phone. Do not apply via regular mail. No, those are losing propositions. You want to go to a branch. You want to sit down with the rep and you want to have a conversation. Okay. And when you go to a branch, make sure you are bringing all paperwork around your business legal name, your startup business legal name. Okay. Your startup business address. Those are really quite essential. Your startup business phone number, the type of a business industry, the industry type, the business entity, the legal structure. So is your startup an LLC? Is your startup a C corporation? Is your startup an S corporation? Is your startup an ALP, LP, whatever? Okay. Or in some cases, your startup could be a sole proprietorship. In other words, you have a DBA. You are doing business as, and basically you are still considered. You can still be considered for a startup business credit card. Not a problem. Okay, and you also need to have your federal tax identification number or your social okay, number of employees, your annual business revenue. In this case, you have no income. So the thing is that you have to show projected data, okay? Projected data is really quite essential. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a convo about how to get a credit union startup business credit card with no income. What is the best strategy? What is the formula for success to sort of get this type of credit card? One thing that's really important to understand here is that you do not want to apply for multiple credit cards at the same time, because it's more beneficial to apply for one credit card that you are most interested in and that you are most likely to qualify for, instead of applying for multiple cards at once, hoping that you might get out of 10 you might get approved for one. This is a losing proposition. Do not do that, okay? Lenders make a hard inquiry on your credit, which will negatively impact your credit score. So they'll also evaluate your personal credit report when applying for a business credit card. So hard inquiries can lower your credit score in general. So be very careful there. Now, let me just talk to you a little bit about how to actually make the most out of your business credit, your startup business credit card, when you get it from a credit union. Because it's important to understand that credit unions are just fantastic. There are fantastic alternatives when it comes to business credit cards for startups, right? And you can do a lot. But the whole thing here is that before you apply for a business credit card at a credit union, make sure that you know exactly what's going on in your industry, what's going on in your startups also. You gotta do an inward analysis and outward analysis. That's what we call dual analysis, okay? Inward and outward. Inward, you want to see what's going on in your company, okay? Are you making money? And are you signing new clients, okay? What is the pace of a client acquisition? What is the pace of research and development? Do you have new products in the pipeline? What's really happening internally in terms of talent management? Okay, are employees motivated? So those are things that are really important. How do you generate revenue? Have you solidified your business, your cash generation model? Okay, and this is for the inward analysis, but also we have to do the outward analysis, which is you have to look at what's happening in the industry. How are our rivals behaving? Are they kicking ass or you're kicking their asses, okay? And you have to look at that, and you have to look at the profitability. What are the general trends in the industry? What is the media saying about your industry? Those questions, it's better that you ask them yourselves now, because when you apply for a credit union startup business credit card, they will ask you those questions anyway. One thing I also want to say here is that if you want to make the most out of most of your business credit card, your startup business credit card, the credit union, take advantage of sign-up bonuses, okay? Redeem your rewards miles for travel and pay your balances on time, okay? Now, when we talk about taking advantage of sign-up bonuses, it really depends on the specific cards that you are after. So it can be a credit card for travel. It could be a credit card for a cashback. It could be a credit card for everyday perks. So whatever it is, take advantage of the sign-up bonuses. And again, redeem your rewards miles for travel, okay? So if your business credit card earns miles on purchases and you travel often for business-related trips, you can redeem your rewards miles to pay for future flights and hotel stays. And this is a great strategy because this will save you money in the long run. Before we close today's conversation, let me just talk a little bit about the credit score that you need to get a startup, like a credit union startup business credit card with no income. One thing we love here when it comes to credit unions is that they are more flexible. They are more quote-unquote user-friendly or borrower-friendly, okay? Because credit unions are run like families, and they will really sort of work with you to make sure that even if you're having bad credit, they can still qualify you. So in terms of credit score, what we have seen in our research for the last 20 years to 30 years, researching this is sort of this topic, 525 is the bare minimum. Remember, I said bare minimum that you need to qualify for a credit union startup business credit card with no income at that, okay? If you have no income, then you have to actually show the startup that you're really doing good on all other fronts, okay? So this is really important. So you need to have this 525. Now, the higher the better, though. If you have a higher credit score, that's the better for your startup in terms of getting a credit union startup business credit card with no income. One thing I need to say here is that and this is a winner for you. This is a winner for you. You can actually get a startup business credit card from a credit union with an LLC. Not a problem. Because sometimes people believe that if you have an LLC, it can be a little complicated. Then it's just a lot better to have a C corporation, because a C corporation looks, quote unquote, more organized, more serious, whatever. Those are myths, okay? Do not listen to that, to those myths. Those are lies. People lying to your face. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the organizational structure that you have. You can qualify for a credit union, start a business credit card, even if you have no income, okay? You can have an LLC, you can have an LP, you can have an LP, you can have a C corp, you can have an S corp. That's not what determines really your approval chances for a credit union, start a business credit card with no income, okay? There are other criteria that are at play here. And one thing I also want to say here is that it's important to understand that you have to look at your financials. Your financials, even if you have a startup and you have not been generating income yet, you still need to look at your projected financials, okay? Because basically, if you have no income now and your projections are showing that you wouldn't have income for the next 10 years, that's problematic. Let's close to this conversation by talking about the credit union startup business credit cards with no income, the requirements. What are the credit card requirements? What you do have right now if you want to qualify. Now, ideally, if you have no income, you want to have a good or excellent credit score. That way, you can actually use this quote unquote positive news to offset the negative news of having no income for your startup. Actually, there are two negative news here. The fact that you have a startup and then you have no income. Okay, so this is really important to think about that. Now, overall, if you really want to always win with your credit card, your business credit card application, whether you're a startup or established business, you want to think about three things. You want to think about your business plan. You want to think about your financial projections. And you want to think about your personal and or business tax returns, as well as your bank statements. Okay, so it's important because see, the thing is here is that if you don't have income, the credit union where you are applying for a business credit card will look at the constellation of evidence, the constellation of proofs that you were actually putting on the table to see whether or not you could be a candidate. Okay, and it's really important to also operate a small business startup with the intent to make profit. So you need to operate it with the intent to make profit, because a lot of folks actually run their business as a hobby. Then they go to apply for a credit union business credit card with no income, and then when they're asked, how come you haven't generated income in the last 5 years, they're like, it's because they're not running the startup as a business. You got to run it as a business with the intent to make profit. Okay, and it's also important that you need to tell the credit union that you are going to use the business credit card for business expenses only. Okay, because credit unions and banks in general, they're really about like startups that get a business credit card, and the next thing you know, they actually charge on the card crazily personal stuff, and you'll be like, wow, why are they doing this? Well, it's because they haven't done their homework. And please don't make sure that this doesn't happen to you. Okay, so if you want to get a credit union startup business credit card with no income, make sure you are going to use the card strictly for business expenses, for business purposes. Okay, so that you can actually build business credit for that matter. You can actually have a clear segregation of expenses when it comes to filing your business tax returns and your personal tax returns. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just quickly talking to you about credit union startup business credit card with no income. How do you get such a card? I give you the overview, the steps, the approach you need to follow, the pro tips, and the decision you need to really have, and as well as in our close to this conversation with a winner that will allow you actually with a winner strategy that will help you actually get your credit union startup business credit card with no income in real time. Thank you. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.